From shadow to star. Her stunning reunion revenge. The winter evening was crisp. The kind where your breath hangs in the air like a fleeting ghost. Anna Larson sat in her cozy apartment. The glow of her phone casting soft shadows on the walls. A notification stared back at her. An invitation to her high school class of 2013 reunion at the Golden Ivy. The most exclusive restaurant in the city. Her heart skipped, not with excitement but with a familiar ache. High school wasn't a fond memory for Anna. It was a battlefield where she'd been the quiet girl in thrift store clothes. Mocked and invisible. The nickname, Shadow, still stung. A cruel label from classmates who saw her as less than them. Anna grew up in a small, drafty apartment with her parents, who loved her fiercely but struggled to make ends meet. Her father, James, had been a history teacher, passionate about books and ideas. Until budget cuts cost him his job. He took grueling night shifts at a warehouse. His hands calloused, his spirit worn. Anna's mother, Lily, cleaned offices, her knees aching from hours on hard floors. They never complained, but Anna saw the worry in their eyes when bills piled up. She wore hand-me-down sweaters and faded jeans, clothes that marked her as different. At school, the other kids noticed. They whispered about her tangled hair, her scuffed shoes, the faint musty smell of thrift stores. The teasing was relentless. Sneers in the hallways. Giggles behind notebooks. A sweater once tossed at her in the cafeteria with a cruel laugh. Anna learned to shrink, to fade into the background, earning her nickname, but she never stopped working. She studied late into the night, earned straight A's, and graduated with honors, leaving high school with a diploma and a vow to never look back. Now, at 28, Anna's life was different. Her apartment was modest but warm, filled with plants and soft blankets. She wasn't wealthy, but she was proud. She'd earned a scholarship to the National Business Academy, graduated top of her class, and started 2 small businesses, one in event planning, one in consulting. She volunteered with kids from tough backgrounds, teaching them to dream big. And she had David Carter, her husband, a kind man with warm brown eyes who ran a tech company but loved Anna for her heart, not her resume. They'd met in grad school, bonding over late-night study sessions and shared dreams. David saw her strength, her quiet resilience, and it drew him to her. The reunion invite felt like a trap. The names attached, Sophie Miller, Clara Holt, Mark Evans, brought back sharp memories. Sophie, the queen bee, had led the bullying, her sharp tongue cutting Anna down in front of everyone. Clara, Sophie's shadow, laughed along, too weak to stand up to her friend. Mark, the football star, had joined in, tossing out nicknames like Shadow with a grin. Anna's finger hovered over the delete button, but something stopped her. This wasn't about them, it was about her. She wanted to walk into that room, not to prove them wrong, but to prove to herself she was no longer the girl who hid. Across town, Sophie Miller sat in a trendy cafe, the air thick with the scent of espresso and fresh croissants. Sunlight streamed through tall windows, glinting off her red manicure as she scrolled her phone. She stopped at Anna's profile and smirked, showing it to Clara Holt, who sipped a latte across from her. "Check this out," Sophie said, her voice dripping with amusement. "Anna Larson, Shadow. Remember her? Those hideous sweaters, always lurking in the corners? She just RSVP'd to the reunion." Clara's eyes widened, her cup pausing midair. What? Why would she come? The Golden Ivy's way too fancy for her. Sophie laughed, loud enough to turn heads. "That's the point. She'll show up in some thrift store rag and look pathetic. It'll be hilarious." Clara shifted, her green scarf slipping. "Sophie, it's been 10 years. Maybe we should drop it." Sophie waved her off, her smile sharp. "Oh, please, look at her profile, cats, flowers, sappy quotes. She's still a nobody. This is gonna be fun." Clara didn't argue, but her stomach twisted. She left the cafe and climbed into her beat-up sedan. The heater long broken, snow dusted the windshield, and she shivered, pulling her coat tighter. Her Instagram was full of brunches and fake smiles. But the truth was bleaker. Her receptionist job barely paid the bills, and she spent too much trying to keep up with Sophie's lifestyle. Clara wondered why she still let Sophie call the shots, but it was a habit she couldn't break. As she drove home, Anna's name lingered in her mind. stirring a flicker of guilt. Back at her apartment, Anna stood before her mirror, smoothing the straps of a deep blue dress. It was simple but elegant, hugging her figure and shimmering faintly under the light. Her dark hair fell in soft waves, and her eyes, once shadowed with fear, now held quiet strength. David stepped behind her, his hands gentle on her shoulders. "You look incredible," he said, his voice warm. Anna's hands shook slightly. "I don't know if I can do this. David, what if they laugh? What if I fall apart?" He turned her to face him, his eyes steady. "You're not that girl anymore. You've faced worse than a room of old classmates. You're going for you, not them. And if it gets hard, I'm right here." Anna took a deep breath, her fear softening. She nodded, grabbed her coat, and headed out. The drive to the Golden Ivy was quiet, the city lights blurring past. Snow fell gently, blanketing the streets. Anna's heart raced, but she held on to David's words. This was her moment. The Golden Ivy was a vision of luxury, its glass walls glowing like a beacon. A massive chandelier sparkled in the lobby, casting golden light across marble floors. Inside, soft piano music mingled with the clink of glasses. Anna's classmates sat at a long table by a floor-to-ceiling window, the frozen river glittering outside. Sophie wore a tight red dress, her blonde hair perfect. Clara fidgeted with her napkin, her green dress slightly creased. Mark stuffed appetizers in his mouth, his tie loose. Luke Parker, once a loud jock, was quieter now, his eyes thoughtful. Emily Chen, who'd been kind but distant in school, sipped wine, watching the group. Mark leaned back, chewing loudly. "Why'd you invite Shadow, Sophie? She was such a loser." Sophie smirked, swirling her drink. "To watch her squirm. She won't fit in here." Luke frowned, his voice low. "We were pretty cruel to her. I'm not proud of it." Emily nodded. "She didn't deserve it. Maybe we should apologize." Sophie rolled her eyes. "Oh, come on. She was a ghost. She didn't even talk." "Maybe because we scared her," Luke said, his tone sharp. Before Sophie could snap back, the doors swung open. The room fell silent. Anna stepped inside, her heels clicking softly. Her blue dress caught the light, and she moved with a grace that seemed effortless. Her chin was high, her eyes calm. No one recognized her at first. Then Clara gasped, her hand flying to her mouth. "Is that Anna?" Mark's jaw dropped. "No way." Sophie's smile vanished, her fingers tightening around her glass. Anna approached the table, her voice steady. "Good evening. Am I late?" Luke jumped up, pulling out a chair. "Not at all. Please, sit." Anna sat, folding her hands calmly. The table was silent, everyone staring. Then a waiter appeared, carrying a massive bouquet of white roses. "For Mrs. Anna Carter," he said, "from Mr. David Carter." Sophie's eyes widened. "David Carter? The David Carter? The tech CEO?" Anna smiled, unfazed. "Yes, my husband." The table went still. Clara leaned forward, her voice soft. "You're married to David Carter?" "We met in grad school," Anna said simply. "I earned a scholarship to the National Business Academy. Graduated top of my class." Mark whistled, impressed. "That's amazing, Anna." "Thank you," she said, her smile warm but cautious. Sophie forced a laugh, trying to regain control. "Well, look at you. Some of us have big careers. Some of us have fancy husbands." Anna raised her glass, her eyes steady. "And some of us haven't grown up at all." The words landed like a quiet thunderclap. Luke cleared his throat, breaking the tension. "Anna, I need to say something. Back in school, we were awful to you. I joined in, and I'm sorry." Clara's eyes shimmered with tears. "Me too. We laughed when we should have helped you." Emily added, "It wasn't fair. You didn't do anything to deserve it." Sophie crossed her arms, her face tight, but Anna focused on the others. "Thank you," she said. "It's not easy to admit that. I'm not here to dig up old pain. I'm here because I'm not afraid anymore." Clara blinked, a tear escaping. "You're not angry?" "I was," Anna admitted, her voice soft. "For years, I carried it, but anger's heavy, And I had bigger dreams than holding onto it. The table fell quiet, but this time it wasn't awkward. It was respect. Mark, who'd been silent, spoke up. So, you're not Shadow anymore. Anna smiled, her eyes sharp but kind. No, I'm the woman who built 2 companies, who married a man I love, and who walked in here knowing exactly who I am. Sophie clinked her glass loudly. Her cheeks flushed. Well, good for you. Some of us had to work hard for what we have. Anna's voice stayed calm, but it cut deep. You think I didn't? I studied nights while working 2 jobs. I cared for my dad when he was sick. I fought for every opportunity. Don't mistake silence for weakness. The words hung heavy. Nearby tables glanced over, sensing the shift. Clara spoke softly. You own businesses? Anna nodded. One in event planning, one in consulting. I also volunteer with kids from tough backgrounds, helping them believe in themselves. Sophie pushed her plate away, her confidence crumbling. Just then, a waiter approached. Mrs. Carter, there's a delivery outside for you. Anna excused herself and returned with a small velvet box. Inside was a silver necklace with a sparkling pendant. A note read, to the woman who turned pain into strength. Love, David. Clara gasped. He's so sweet. Anna touched the pendant, her smile soft. He's wonderful, but the real change is that I respect myself now. That's what matters. She stood, placing her napkin down. Thank you for tonight. I wish you all the best. Sophie muttered, leaving already? Anna turned, her voice steady. No, Sophie, I spent years running. Tonight, I walked in. With that, she left, the room silent behind her. Outside, snow fell gently, catching in her hair. Anna took a deep breath. The cold air sharp and clean. She'd done it. She hadn't just survived, she'd shown. A black car pulled up, and the driver opened the door. Mrs. Carter. Mr. Carter's waiting at the lake house. Anna slid inside, her fingers brushing the necklace. As the city lights faded, so did the weight of her past. The drive was peaceful, the snow softening the world outside. Anna thought back to high school. Not just the cruelty but the small victories. She remembered hiding in the library, her nose in a book, dreaming of a better life. She saw her dad's tired smile when she showed him her report card. Her mom's gentle hugs after a long day. Those moments had kept her going. She'd cried alone countless nights, but she never let the tears drown her ambition. The car stopped at a lake house nestled among snow-covered pines. Warm light spilled from the windows, and the air smelled of wood smoke. David stood on the porch, holding 2 mugs of hot cocoa, a blanket draped over his arm. You were incredible, he said, wrapping the blanket around her. Anna leaned into him, her smile soft. I didn't expect it to feel this good. It's more than good, David said, his voice gentle. It's you letting go. They sat by the fire, the snow falling outside. Anna sipped her cocoa, the pendant glinting in the light. She thought of the girl she'd been, Shadow. The quiet one, the target. That girl was part of her. But she wasn't all of her. Anna was more now, strong, whole, and free. Back at the Golden Ivy, the table was quiet. Luke spoke first, his voice low. Was that the ultimate comeback or what? Clara shook her head, her eyes distant. No, it was a woman who rebuilt herself after we tried to break her. Emily nodded. We thought we were better than her. We were so wrong. Sophie scoffed, but her voice lacked conviction. She got lucky. No, Clara said sharply. She's strong. You called her Shadow, but she walked in like a star. She faced every sneer, every old joke, and didn't flinch. And you know what hurts? She forgave us. The words settled over the table like snow, heavy and undeniable. No one spoke for a long moment. The reunion wasn't what they'd expected. They'd come to laugh, to feel superior. But Anna had turned the night into something else. A mirror showing them who they'd been. And who they could still become. Anna, in the lake house, curled up beside David. The fire crackled, and the world outside was still. She thought of her parents, now retired and living quietly in a small town. She'd bought them a little house last year, a gift for all their sacrifices. She thought of her businesses, the late nights planning events, the clients who trusted her vision. She thought of the kids she mentored, their eyes bright with hope. And she thought of David, who saw her when she felt invisible. The pendant gleamed against her skin, a reminder of her journey. Anna wasn't just Anna Larson anymore. She was Anna Carter, resilient, radiant, and finally at peace.